Welcome, fourth graders, to fourth grade science. Home learning, day 30, May 11th, 2020. Fourth graders, it was great to see you on the Zoom conference this past week. And I hope your rock shakers are coming along. We're going to continue with our study of earth science as we look at the rock cycle this week, the water cycle, clouds and thunderstorms, and earth movement. So I'm going to have a little bit of a lab activity for you. We're going to be heading outside in just a moment to our backyard lab. And also below in the description, I will have videos on each of these topics for you to link up to and to learn about. Please spend some time watching each one, several times, 10, 20 times each, because it took me a long time to find appropriate videos that I thought were just right for you. For this lesson, boys and girls, you are going to need a shovel, some sort of digging instrument, and then also it'd be great to have one of these nearby. Now, I know some of you are kind of small, but ask your parents. Some sort of sledgehammer for breaking rock, and of course, always your parents' permission. 110%. Don't do any of these labs or activities without your parents' permission and supervision. And then probably a good pair of science goggles and a magnifying glass. So let's get to our backyard lab, and if your hole's still dug from last week, you were going to make it a little bit bigger and be looking for some different types of rocks. So let's check out our hole. Let's start making our hole. Well, here we are in our backyard lab and in our garden. This will probably be the last time we'll be able to dig holes in the garden, being that we're going to plant our garden soon. So we probably should skip over there because that's where those fertilizer fish are buried. So those will take a couple more weeks to decompose fully. So we'll get going. Let's start over here with a little bit of digging right here. And we'll be working here. And I tell you what, I'll get going on my hole here. I'll put the camera down, start digging, and we'll check in with you in a little while. Well, boys and girls, before I get much further in my hole, I'm really going to have to start bearing down. I'm looking for some examples of igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. So as we get down further, we'll find some bigger rocks, and we want to throw those to the side because we're going to take a look at those closer. And as you get down in there, you'll probably break into a little water. You'll get down into maybe getting down in the aquifer there a little bit. And so you might need to get a pair of boots on. So keep going, keep digging, and we'll check back with you. Well, fourth graders, I'm quite tired. I finally got my hole dug. Now, yeah, I found out I had to terrace it down a little bit. It was starting to crumble down on top of me. So, and as you see, you can see a fine example of the clay soil underneath some of the topsoil, and water started to seep into my hole. So I'm not sure my wife's going to be so happy about this big hole in our backyard, but I'll fill it up quickly before she sees. So fourth graders, I tried hard to separate my clay soil from beneath the topsoil underneath, on the bottom of my garden there, so that when I put it back in, that I can put that back in, because I want to make sure that I have my topsoil. I got my topsoil over here. I want that topsoil right back on top of the garden, so that my wife can really have a good garden to grow those tomatoes, because that's where all the humus is. So, well, boys and girls, as I was digging that big gigantic hole, I piled my rocks that I found over here on the side so I could take a closer look at them later. So here we go. Hopefully we have a few examples of those 3 types of rocks in this pile here. So this is where your magnifying glass is going to come in handy, and maybe your sledgehammer and certainly your goggles while you break these apart and take a closer look. So boys and girls, now a reminder again, before you start digging that big gigantic hole in your backyard and smashing things or doing anything, make sure your parents are there to supervise you and you have parents' permission and you're using all safety precautions, wearing your goggles, and get some help from your family. You know, the whole family can get back there with shovels digging those holes. That's what we did. I had my sons back there digging the holes, and well, not holes, one hole, one big giant hole. And yeah, and enjoy your time and enjoy the blessings that God has given us out here in nature. And please check out the videos below, and feel free to write up a lab sheet for something in this activity. Remember, come up with a question like, you know, what does a igneous rock look like inside? And then describe it. You know, remember, we observe and then we describe. And you guys are great scientists, and I can't wait to read your dids and C's and maybe on Zoom hear about what you all did. So until next time, remember, boys and girls, go Zephyrs!